Hi, this is Alex from PHP Academy. Welcome to this tutorial on creating a auto-suggest field in PHP. We're going to be using jQuery as well here, and we're also going to be doing some necessary styling as well, so we're going to be using CSS. So in this video we're going to take a look at how everything here works, so an introduction video. We're going to look at how this system works in action. We're going to take a look at the database table structure because we're not actually going to be going through setting the database table up, and then we're going to take a look at the directory structure as well, and then in the second part and the following parts we're going to actually be creating this thing. So first of all, if you're not sure what this auto suggest field is, if I go ahead and let's take a look at the database records first. You can see that I've got a table here with some cities listed in. So we've got London, New York, Paris, etc., blah blah blah. A few that I've purposely given the first couple of letters the same. So we've got Los Angeles and London, both have LO. We've got Manila and Manchester, both MA, and obviously both M's. So that might give you a clue as to what this is. So if I was to go ahead and start typing L, you can see that just below this field we've had a few suggestions given to us. All of them start with L. If I go on to type in LO, you can see that the two that start with LO have been filtered down, and then LON, you can see that we're just left with London. Now when we click on one of these suggestions, you can see they're being highlighted in black. This is all done with CSS. When I click on one, that pops that into that field and we can go ahead and do whatever we're doing. Obviously this button is redundant, or well, never worked in the first place. It's just an example really. Okay, so now that you know how it works, let's take a look at our database table. Extremely simple. Let's go over to our structure tab. We're working in PHPMyAdmin. You can see that we've got a column called city ID and a column called city. Very straightforward. City ID is just the number that represents each record, so a unique record. And what I've done with this is I've given it an auto increment function, if you like. So every time we insert a record, the field will, automatically look at the last record and increment that. If we click on browse, you can see what I mean. It started at 1 through to 10, and the next record that we insert, we won't have to put any value in here. It will automatically increment to 11. And city is just a varchar, so a variable character length with 35. So, I assume that would be enough to list a city in. There might be cities longer than that, but very rare. So, okay, that's our database table. Very easy to set up. You're just going to need two fields, one city ID, one city, an integer type here, auto increment. This also needs to be the primary key, although this field's really irrelevant, but city. Then you just want to go into insert all your records, so type in London here, Manchester here, etc. So when we've done that, we can move and take a look at the directory structure. So we've seen how it works like this. Let's go ahead and open up my text editor. This is just the index file. You can see that we've got a style sheet here, which is extremely important in styling that drop down. We've got an input type of text here, a submit button, which I said again does nothing at the moment. We've got our drop down here, which we're going to be styling, and our unordered list for our results that we're also going to be styling. We've got jQuery included and a JavaScript file here, but more about that in the tutorial because we're going to be starting obviously from scratch. So let's take a look at the directory structure. The first thing that you'll notice is that we've got 4 folders here. Index.php is the file that I've got open at the moment. We've got 4 folders: JS, CSS, Core, and Ajax. Now I'm just going to take a moment to explain each one of these are. So JS just contains our primary.js file. That's just going to utilize the jQuery JavaScript library and allow us to, check when a key has been pressed, and then, use Ajax to grab the result from our database. So relatively straightforward. In the CSS folder we've got screen.css, which is the style sheet that we've included into our page. Then we've got core, that just contains connect.php. That's essentially just the file that connects to our database. I'll just go ahead and open that up. So it just goes ahead and connects to our database. And then we've got ajax, which contains search.php. Now search.php is the file that does all the work and searches for the users, well, whatever the user started to type in this field here. So if we type LO, that's done two separate checks, one for L, one for O, and therefore it can filter itself down. So if this looks a bit complicated or scary, it's really not. We're going to be creating it, and I'll be explaining every single step of it. Although we've got this this file structure and folder structure, it helps because we know where everything is. It makes everything a lot tidier. So that's basically it for the introduction. This is the index page, and I've explained about the style sheets, the JavaScript, and everything. But like I said, we're going to be starting from scratch with this. So in the next part of the tutorial, we're going to be starting to build this. Okay, so in the last part of the tutorial, we successfully fed back the results from our query. So if I type in L, we've got London, Liverpool, Los Angeles. When I type O, it filters it down, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now what we can go ahead and do is get rid of this alert in our JavaScript file, and we actually want to do something useful to it. So after we've retrieved these results, this HTML data, we want to place this inside of our result element here. So essentially it'll end up looking like this, with lots of LIs depending on how many results we get back. So how do we do that? Well, in JavaScript we target result, and then we can set the value that is contained within. So inside primary.js we want to use a selector. We want to select result, and we want to say .html, and then in here we want to feed back some HTML into here, and that's data. So we're placing data inside of result. So now when we go ahead and refresh, instead of getting that annoying alert box up, when I type in L, O, it actually filters through. Okay, so we've more or less got our functionality complete now. The only thing that we don't have is the ability to click on it. Nothing's happening at the moment. We can't click on it and actually place the value that we found inside of the field. That's relatively annoying if you have some kind of functionality like this. You're allowing people to type in and it to auto-suggest, but you don't actually have the ability to click on it. So how do we do this? Well, inside of here, we want to we want to create an event handler for each LI. Now, when we click that, we want to grab that value and we want to place that into the field, okay? So this is slightly trickier, but, bear with me and hopefully you'll understand. So, result LI dot click. We want to create an anonymous function. Now we need to get the value of what's been clicked. So var, let's just say result value equals this dot text. Now why this dot text? Well, there's only text within LI. We don't have any links, we don't have any A tags or anything like that. It's just the text within. So if we go ahead and alert this out, you'll see that when we go ahead and search for something, L for example, and I click on Liverpool, you can see we get an alert box with Liverpool. If I click on Los Angeles, we see we get Los Angeles. Same with London. The same if we go ahead and type in MA and click on that, Manila or Manchester. Okay, so it works either way. Now what we want to do with that value that we're currently echoing out, obviously we don't want to echo it out, that would be pointless. We want to go ahead and place it back into the auto suggest. So we want to say .auto suggest, which remember is our field element, and we want to say .attribute, and we want to set the value attribute to the result value, and then we want to hide the suggest box, but we'll do that in just a moment. So if I was to type in LO and go ahead and click on Los Angeles, you see that that changes to Los Angeles. Simple, we've done what we wanted to. Now we want to go ahead and hide this these two options here. So we want to hide the entire results set. So how do we do that? Well, we say .result .html nothing. Okay. So here we set the result HTML to the data. Here we're setting the result HTML to nothing because we don't need to leave it open once the user has clicked it. So let's go ahead and try that out again. Let's type in L, click on Los Angeles, you see that the box goes, that's in there. Again, M, click on Manchester, that goes, and the data has been put in there. So that's the tutorial complete. We've created the functionality that I displayed in the first part, and we've done this relatively easy using just a bit of CSS and our JavaScript here to handle the results sent back from this PHP file here. So relatively simple. We have a working auto suggest field that we are able to click on, have the value